When last we left off with veins like tapeworms, we got two endings. We got an ending where Demian actually got some peace, and then we also got the ending where we found out what happens if we wait till the 11th hour to give Slice what they wanted. In this round, I'm gonna go with all the orange options. We're gonna see what happens when Demian loses their metaphorical shit. This, actually, let me go to options. Because what I'm gonna do is, where is it? Is it in accessibility? Extra animations are enabled, screen filters are on, content warning, spoiler-free spoilers. So we're gonna go with none this time around, because we've kind of already seen everything. Although I'm gonna warn everybody right now that there's probably gonna be more violent CGs and descriptions going forward. And there goes my Finch. But this time around, I will not have any of the trigger warnings, so if you're continuing to watch past this point, you have been forewarned. Shit gets dark. It gets dark, it gets unforgiving, things are gonna go downhill very quick, probably. The burb demands attention, yes. I forgot to open the Borba up today. And I forgot to open up my timer! And so now we pick back up around New Year's, and Demian's Sisyphean hell has started anew. They weren't really sure when they reached their breaking point. If they had to wager a guess, though, it was around when they watched the cops cart a body out of room 103. If it wasn't then, it was today, when Carl waited for the room to be released from investigation. And I'm gonna be paraphrasing a lot of the dialogue since we've already played through it. When all the hubbub died down, and Demian was 30 minutes away from clocking out, Carl would pull them aside and said they needed to clean out 103. Or at least 103's tub. I'm not qualified to clean that, Demian told him. People aren't going to ask, Carl coaxed. Come on, we can't afford a specialist. I mean, I always kind of assumed that's something I hadn't thought about the first time playing through. I always kind of figured the cleanup crew would come with the cops to like clean up the crime scene, not something that would be done by the people actually owning the place. 1 second, I'm sorry, I'll be right back. I forgot something. The bathtub is, of course, a biohazard. With a bunch of blood, shit, and probably a little bit of piss in the mix. It's called corpse soup for a reason. Demian stares daggers at them and wants to murder Carl viscerally. Which we will do later, but not right now. Yeah, fine, sure. Don't get them wrong. Demian is handling life decently enough. They already had their earth-shattering, world-ending breakdown last month. The results of that are still visible on Demian. They chopped off so much of the long, dark hair that Ma had always gushed about, before bleaching and dyeing it as close to white as they could get it. Make it the great base to have whatever color they want, whatever their little heart desires. The result looked like a toddler got a pair of scissors and a bottle of mustard. Luckily for Demian, it's had time to grow and it looked a bit less lopsided. Still though, to call it a sloppy hack job would be doing it a favor. And hey, there are perks to having short hair. For one thing, Demian doesn't have to put it in a bun to keep it from dipping into a bathtub full of blood and bleach. I mean, I would still think you should probably wear a hairnet, just to keep it out of your way. I hated having short hair. They're not sure why the Restful Night Motel has such an allure to those with debts to pay and grudges to settle. I mean, knowing what we know now about Carl, probably because he takes money under the table for all kinds of dirty shit. Sure, being in the outskirts of Kingsfield Beach's seedier parts meant that the guests were going to be a bit more colorful than Demian would expect. This, though, this is really something else. It's fucked up, that's what it is, Demian thinks to himself while yanking off a black rubber glove. Some average Tom who pissed off the wrong Dick tries to flee to a motel and lay low. Dick finds Tom and kills him to get even. Now poor little Harry has to clean up the mess Tom and Dick left behind. Demi wouldn't mind being in Dick's spot. He'll even take being Tom. Oh, Jesus. You shouldn't have taken the gloves off. They clap a hand over their nose. The good hand. The one that hasn't been wrist deep in bodily fluids and hold back a gag. The odor permeating through the air is so thick in Demian's nose. It's almost too sweet, but the foul stench of rust is definitely there, just an undertone. Demian grits their teeth and squeezes their eyes shut. A few heavy breaths through their mouth will get them through the next few minutes, hopefully. As someone that occasionally has to breathe through their mouth because of allergies, because like, if you breathe in like a very strong but very cheap perfume, it can fuck with your nose. And sometimes breathing through your mouth is the only thing you can really do. But the worst part about that is then you can fucking taste the smell, and it's arguably even worse. This one little thing is all they need to do before they're off work today. Then they can lie down in bed and do their best to forget about it. You can do this, Zhao. Don't lose your shit. Clocking out's in sight. Demian sucks in a breath, takes their hand off their mouth, and gets to scrubbing the chipped ceramic. They're finally at the point where the blood is coming off instead of smearing around like dragging a slimy paintbrush on a canvas. Soon enough, it'll all collect at the bottom of the tub and they can send it swirling down the drain. You're all done. Margaret smiles at Demian. They can feel the nasty sneer behind that grin, even though the niceties, or through the niceties Margaret presents herself with. I will say... I did say I was going to pick all the orange options, but none of the orange options are really here. Well, we did like You Would Care last time, so let's be misanthropic. Demian clenches their fists and inhales through their teeth. Yeah, finally, they say without looking up. It would be nice to tell Carl's daughter to fuck off, but Demian can't risk losing their job. Maybe some other day. Like if Demian won the lottery, or killed someone. Are you okay? Seeing that would take a toll on anyone. Margaret sighs and looks up at the midnight sky. Thick gray clouds roll in further by the second. It's going to rain or snow soon, and Demian isn't sure which. Fine. Demian relaxes their grip on the cleaning cart's gaudy yellow handle. Nothing I can't deal with anyway. I'll get it over. Or I'll get over it, probably. Alright, yeah, sure. Margaret breaks eye contact. Demian studies the sky. There are long black streaks in the clouds. I have become Borb! I think. I have! Is negative space working? It is, it's just not showing it very well. The stilted silence seems to drag on for hours. No doubt Margaret can tell she's not fooling Demian. She's the first to stop the torment. Well, I gotta get going. I'm gonna miss the bus. Yeah, I'm going too, Demian says.
Pat, pat, pat.
I received head pats! Thank you. Their stomach is rumbling so damn loud. As soon as they can, they're going into the city to stock up on some food. Their payment's gonna be coming in a few days, so Demian can afford to get a little extra. Hell yeah! Rent is pretty much costing an arm and a leg, so any moment where they aren't dipping into their paltry savings is a moment well enjoyed. The two go on their separate ways. Thank God, any longer and Demian would've... Nope, not going down that path, not gonna tempt myself. Go. Miriam leans over and calls out a greeting as Demian pushes the glass door open. Her voice is familiar to their ears. Hey, welcome to the quick stop shop. I'll be out in a second. Don't get excited, Webster, it's just me, is Demian's flat response. Sultry Seagull just plays the intro to Careless Whisper. People use it for, like, being sultry, but it's really a very sad song. Although the creator of the song, funnily enough, absolutely hates it. Because he thinks it's like a little brainless ditty he made up. And people just fucking loved it. There's a new lilt in her tone that wasn't there before. Oh, Demian, hi! How's it going? It's going, I guess. They advance into the store. The lights hanging above Demian and Miriam's heads wash everything in a cold tinge. Colorful, fatty snacks line the shelves to Demian's left. The stench of seafood is especially strong today. Demian swallows the bile rising in the back of their throat. Fresh fish smells like the ocean, and cucumbers is a lie that they've never bought into. Fresh fish, in fact, smells like a swamp on a hot summer day in sheer hatred. For cake. Today, that hatred is seeping into every corner of the store. Poor Demian. Trying to keep their voice steady, Demian asks, "Did the fish guy come in early or something?" Miriam pauses, her brows undoubtedly furrowed in the way that it always is when she needs to think. I think so. I just clocked in for the night shift. You'd have to ask Luna tomorrow. She was at the store when we got our deliveries. Oh. A high-pitched mewling punches through the muffled pop music ringing in Demian's ears. They perk up and look around the store. It only takes a few seconds for them to find the culprit. A large cat with orange fur speckled in white spots is curled up tight in a cardboard box. A towel lines the interior. He looks comfortable, with his eyes shut and tail twitching upwards. So yeah, I know, George Michael hated it, because he has been able to hate the song for a few years since he died. Also, hello, Kilo! Welcome in! I hope you're doing well today. Demian smiles softly and kneels down to pat the top of his head. Gibbon! I guess this guy's happy about it, though, they remark. It's only now that Miriam pokes her head out of the aisle she's been so enraptured with. Thick, mousy hair is tied up into a tight braid, her glasses shining under the store lights. Yeah, he's been chatting up a storm since I clocked in. That's a good sign. Means he's warming up to you guys, they say without looking away from the cat. Don't know if I ever told you this, but I used to have a cat too, just like this one here. Do you not know that George Michael's been gone for 9 years already? I did not, honestly. I don't really keep track of celebrity deaths. Because, like, it's kind of like being surprised that royalty has died. It's like, oh, they live in such a different tax bracket to me that their life and death literally has no bearing on mine. Delicious cocoa. Anyway. Don't know if I ever told you this, but I used to have a cat too, just like this one here. Really? Mm-hmm. She didn't know how to meow, so she just kind of screamed. I thought it was funny. Named her Tabby, short for Tabisca. Like the hot sauce? Yeah. I don't even like the stuff. It tastes like shit to me. Demian looks over their shoulder and locks gazes with Miriam. But Tabisco works as a cat name, so Tabby it is. Oh, it's so cute. Let's see. They played it at his funeral. I mean, to be fair, it was one of his most recognizable songs, even if he did hate it. Standing up, they grab a nearby shopping basket and start to throw ramen packets into it. Demian figures it's a good idea to leave out the part where Pa hit Tabby with the car and didn't tell them. Mentioning to Miriam how they found her buried in the woods days later would probably put a damper on the mood. Gushing on and on about how funny Demian is, Miriam sets down the plastic milk crate filled with canned drinks. While kneeling, she reaches out to pet the cat. I don't think we've all thought of an official name for our little mascot yet. Luna calls him Flip-Flop, but I think he's more of a juice to me. The response is non-committal. Miriam changes the subject instead of letting Demian go. So, by the way, how's work? They already regret striking up a conversation. Tired eyes stay focused on instant meals. TV dinners and cheap noodles churn the stomach, but it's all Demian can afford. I don't think you want to know the answer. I think we're gonna stick with the honest answer. It's okay. Demian holds back their real thoughts. Never a dull day there, I guess. Unrelated, but I think I'm gonna pick up a Lucy today. Maybe two. Her plain face contorts into a sympathetic cringe. That bad, huh? Yeah. Demian only smokes after a particularly stressful shift. I hear a Binks meowing, but he's not going back outside because he was a little menace to the other cats. Thank God the back and forth ends soon afterwards. Demian's already exhausted from dealing with people all day. More like all week if they're being honest. The last thing they need is more insanity before they can go home and sleep. The cashier, a middle-aged woman named Emily, takes a few seconds to lecture Demian on how the shop really shouldn't be selling them loose cigarettes, so they'd better watch who they tell. Demian bites their tongue to stop themselves from telling Emily to can it and give them to Lucy already. The snow's started. There's already a light dusting on the sidewalk, and fat snowflakes drift to the ground. Demian pulls the shoulder of their jacket up further to their neck. They'll probably get something better soon. The zipper on this thing's already busted, so it just hangs off their lanky frame. Hopefully by next week they'll be able to buy a new one. Demian put in extra overtime specifically for the jacket funds. Leaning back against the shop's brick walls, Demian lights a cigarette and takes a long drag. It tastes awful and doesn't feel great. Still, Demian figures that it's the lesser of two evils when compared to what else they could be doing to themselves. They blow the smoke all out into the air. In all honesty, it's peaceful out here. They've never been a big fan of the drab feeling that early January evenings held, but something about this seems different. Good, but different. For a moment, it almost feels like Demian's troubles are far, far behind them. No worries about paying their rent, everyone leaving them alone, and the gore they washed down Window 3's drain is a distant memory that felt years old. The shop's door swings open, and the illusion is broken. Miriam's boots crunch on the snow. Hey, you shouldn't be out here for too long. You'll freeze out here. Frigid winter air bites at Demian's cheeks. The stench of smoke wafts up further into the falling snow. They lower their hand and exhale. Steam clouds puff up in front of thin lips. They tower over her. I love how I said earlier I was just gonna paraphrase the text and I'm still just reading it all out anyway. Don't give me that, Demian drawls. You know my place doesn't allow smoking. She stares down at her feet. I know, but... But nothing. I can't afford the ass-whooping I'd get. Miriam swallows thick. She clicks her fingernails against one another, looking as if she'd really like to hide within her work uniform. It's too big for her. The poorly tailored dress and apron hang past her hands. Come on, it's cold out. Can't. I told you. I just... don't want you to get hypothermia or anything, she finds it in herself to say. Her cheeks are red. Demian really hopes it's because of the cold, but they know better. Hey, if you ever... I mean... Never mind. Take care of yourself, alright? Don't pity me. Yeah, sure. Demian finishes their cigarette, snuffs it out, and tosses it into a can once they're sure it's out. Suddenly, they'd really like to be anywhere else but here. See you next week, I guess. Yeah. They turn their back toward Miriam and start walking home. Hey, if you're free anytime soon, I'm on night shift, so I've got free time during the day. So, if you ever want to get a coffee or something... Be seeing you, Webster. They've been beating around the bush regarding whatever feelings Miriam has for them. Demian doesn't think she'd be weird about it, but they've never had good results telling people about their asexuality. Don't keep Emily waiting back there. Right. Demian didn't mean to be so harsh to her. In all honesty, talking to Miriam doesn't make them want to pull themselves out of their skin. They're just... they don't have the words to describe it. She's a bit of a dullard in their opinion, definitely unobservant as hell, but they wouldn't call her a dick or something. But it'd be weird to turn around and clarify now. With unspoken words on the brain, Demian keeps their head down and walks home. Miriam wasn't kidding. It is cold tonight. The tips of Demian's fingers are already numb by the time they make the trek back to the Restful Night Motel. Actually, yeah, going off of what we do know, because, like, Demian has had to, like, ride a bus and ride a train separate times to get to the quick stop shop. So, like, it had to have been a pretty long-ass way. Maybe like a 30-minute walk, maybe? The black midnight sky only draws their exhausted eye to the neon pink sign hanging in the parking lot. The O is flickering on and off. It's almost pretty, they think. The nasally voice that feels like razors in Demian's brain breaks their conversation. Or concentration, I should say. Hey, Demian. Fuck. They look up to see Carl's face, twisted in some parody of an apologetic smile. Yeah, what's wrong, sir? Please don't. You of all people know how badly the economy is doing these days. And you're not making it easier. Mm-hmm. A motel's barely making it as it is. Whose fault is that? Oh. So I hope you understand that I might not be able to give you your overtime pay this week. It'll be there the next time, I promise. And, I hadn't noticed it the first time I played, or it didn't click for me, but Demian spent a little extra at the quick stop and shop, just a little bit, because they thought they were getting their overtime pay. So now they're having to dip into their savings later, so that's fucking lovely. I hope you drown in your own piss. Sure, I can wait. There go the jacket funds. Well, I won't hold you up for long. It's cold out, and I know you want to rest. You don't seem to have been sleeping well lately. Wow, I wonder why! Thank you, sir. See you tomorrow. See you. They part ways, Demian walking toward the motel with a pounding heart, clenched jaw, and shaking fists. The walk to their room is familiar. Go up the crumbling concrete stairs, turn a left, and head on into room 205. Don't shit where you eat or sleep is a motto Demian has had to tell himself for 4 years. Though in their new arrangement with Carl, eat and sleep are pretty much interchangeable. Ah, delicious, delicious cocoa. Next part of the routine. Slot the key in the sticky lock, jiggle it around a bit, wish they had enough money to live anywhere else except the motel. In a weird way, Demian does feel a bit grateful toward Carl. Even if they were living in one of the more run-down rooms that he was too cheap to fix, it was still a place to sleep on top of their payment. All in cash and under the table, of course. All Demian had to do in exchange was a little more work. Like cleaning up after a dead body. Step 3. Demian slams her shoulder against the door and cringes at the stings of pain. The lock seems to get worse in the colder weather. Demian swipes the snow off the doorstep and throws himself at the wood again. It pops open way too easily, sending Demian tumbling to the threadbare carpet. The ramen bags scatter across the floor. Groaning lowly, Demian sits up and rubs their shoulder. At least it didn't dislocate, but the bones sure hurt like hell. They'd like to lie there for a few hours, unblinking and unmoving. But in the end, Demian slams their door shut and crouches down to pick up their food. The motel room's air conditioner rattles in Demian's ears, drawing the mildewy odors away for another night. It's fine. Nothing broken, everything's fine. Demian swings the bag of food onto the nightstand. Maybe it'd be nice to have a bath and relax before they eat. Their fingers still feel so unclean, even through the gloves and the cleaning chemicals. The bathroom light buzzes at an uncomfortable volume. Demian pulls the shower curtain back and stares down at the tub. Instead of relief, stress floods their veins. Even if their tub is bleached clean enough to eat from, their mind's eye brings back memories of crimson sludge and skittering cockroaches slurping at their meal. Nope, maybe tomorrow. They shut the curtain. Demian turns on the sink to scrub their hands until their fingertips are raw. They look up and stare at the trash bag covering their mirror. It was for their own good, really. Looking at their own reflection only makes them miserable. Ugh. Demian's really thanking their lucky stars they didn't grow up to be a neat freak. Otherwise they'd be going even more insane than they already are. Wriggling maggots, steaming vomit, and crawling beetles in the moldy walls is one thing. But Demian will get over it, like they always do. They have to. If they break down again, who knows what they'll do? Quit? Get fired? Who knows? Shit! Demian grunts through the pain. Looking down, they see the back of their left hand dripping with blood. The right one grips the scrubber tight enough to dent the palm. Sighing deep, Demian puts down the brush and runs their hand under hot water. Stinging sensations fill their fingers. Rivulets of pink flow into the drain, the remnants of watered-down blood leaving its mark on the basin. Maggots? Where? Apparently the entire motel is just full of them. It's a run-down shithole in the wall in the back corners of this... Kingsfield is like a Las Vegas stand-in, I feel like, because Demian makes mentions of casinos everywhere. They've been sighing a lot these days. Demian can't really help it. The next few minutes are a bit of a blur. Demian didn't have any bandages, so the best they could do was clean out the abrasion and hope it would scab up in the meanwhile. After that, dinner consisted of a plastic cup of noodles made in the motel microwave. All the nights of ramen as their meals are probably going to come back and bite Demian in the ass one of these days, but they're too tired to care. I mean, you're what, like 24, maybe? 22, 24, somewhere in the area of. You're young enough that it's not going to be too big of a problem for the time being. Like, I think you have to eat nothing, like literally nothing but cup noodles for like 5 years before it becomes a severe malnutrition problem. Not that I'm encouraging it, because you really should try to eat other foods where possible, but, you know, when shit's tight, shit's tight. Damn, Demian whistles to himself while staring out the window. The snow is growing more and more intense by the minute. As much as they hate this place, Demian's glad they aren't on the streets anymore. Nights like these would be nothing short of misery. But hey, they have a roof over their head and a stable job. A leaky roof and a soul-sucking job, but still a roof and a job. So maybe it isn't that bad here. It's loud. Let's see. Any and all good feelings Demian might have been collecting are evaporated the moment the music starts. It's loud, thumping, and startles the ever-loving shit out of them. Demian jolts. Their ramen slips out of their hands. Fuck! Orange broth spills across the table, onto the floor, and splashes onto their scratched hand. Ouch. Leaping up to their feet and knocking over a plastic chair, Demian does their best to clean up the mess, grumbling to themselves the whole way. Their hand hurts so bad. Mixtures of the heat and seasoning only irritates their raw skin. Demian turns upward, or their gaze turns upward, toward the wall they share with a music-blasting neighbor. At least Demian has the decency to wear headphones when they want to play music so loud it makes their bones rattle. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. For the love of fucking God, shut that music off! Game is now saved. The urge to go and give that piece of their mind grows deeper. Confront. We gave up last time. Confront them. Let's see what happens. Let's go. Fuck it. Demian can't do this anymore. Demian doesn't even trash the noodle cup. If they listen to this bullshit any longer, they're going to go insane. Slinging their jacket back over their shoulders, Demian clinches their motel key and stomps outside. Turning their heel, they head to the door directly to the left of their motel room. The thin plastic is practically shaking. Oh, wow. The rustling decal announcing which room it is could fall off at any second. Hey, hey! Demian screams. Their hollers are drowned out into a whisper. Biting the inside of their mouth, Demian bangs on the door again. Turn down the music! Some of us are trying to sleep! Pressing their ear against the side of the door only gives Demian a headache. All they can hear are teeth-chattering bass and screaming lyrics. No sign of life. They'd write a nasty letter to the lower volume and slide under the door if they had a pen and paper. Pinching the bridge of their nose, they pull away and try to peer through the curtains. No movement. It's pointless, isn't it? Not like whoever's in there could hear or care. Demian's gotta learn how to pick better battles anyway. New priority, food. Cheese curls would make a decent replacement for dinner right about now. The vending machine near the lobby still sort of worked. In fact, that saved Demian's ass quite a few times before. Fat snowflakes keep on falling. It dusts the concrete, the vending machine, even the short curls of Demian's hair. They pull up their jacket's hood around their neck and kick the side of the machine again. Come on already! God, they can still hear the music. It's faint, but undoubtedly there. They spend some of their dwindling cash on these cheese curls. And by God, they're going to get those cheese curls. It's all they're going to have to eat tonight anyway. Demian portioned out their ramen to last until their next paycheck. Taking any extra would lead to them needing to skip a meal at some point. Come on, give it! Demian kicks the machine for the third time. The bag is stuck in the inner spiral. It wobbles, crinkles, and flops forward. But it won't fall. Come on! Why are they getting so frantic? Are they about to have another breakdown? Demian hopes not. They can't afford it. They can't afford to quit their stupid job of cleaning up shit and blood and piss and sweat-drenched mattresses. Massages? What? And sweat-drenched mattresses. Huh. If they do, they'll lose their roach-filled room and their revolving door of awful neighbors. And if they do that, there's no way in hell they'll ever be able to achieve that dream of working until they die instead of doing something meaningful with their life like they really wanted, and Demi can't have that. Demi needs to be a cog in the machine because there's no spot for spiteful and hateful assholes who wanted to make music of their own and actually do something with their life instead of cleaning the filth of the pieces of shit over and over without any respite until they kick their miserable bucket end. I can't fucking do this anymore! Demi kicks the machine with a hard weep. There isn't even a dent in the side. The cheese curls finally drop into the slot. It's an insult at this point. Demian kneels in front of the machine and shoves their face into their hands. They hate the sobbing that bursts from their throat. They already went through this last month. There's no reason to be blubbering all over again. It's humiliating. It's not about the cheese curls, but it sure was the last straw. The tears burn down their cheeks. It feels like acid. Demian Zhao, 22 years old, is on the fast track to waste their entire life away. Instead of trying to fix it, they're bawling over their own fate like some helpless baby. Demian's pretty sure they would have been crying in the snow for a good 15 minutes if the sound of puking didn't snap them out of it. They scramble to their feet, quickly, scrubbing their face of any tear stains and sniffing the snot back in. The gurgling is faint on the ears, but there's no way to ignore it. They don't approach out of the goodness of their heart. If someone's spewing their guts in the building's vicinity, Demian's the one who has to clean it. It's just easier to scrub fresh vomit instead of leaving it overnight. Rounding a corner, they come face to face with a woman doubled over and barfing into the building's dumpster. "Hey," they say, voice steady but unsure. "Hey, you good?" She's puking a lot. Demian tries to get her attention again. "Dude, hey, dude?" The barfing ceases, hopefully permanently, they think, and the woman snaps her head up. Wide eyes behind crooked glasses peer right at them. Thick hair sticks to her face. Even in the dead of winter, she's sweating. It's so bad the shimmer of the neon sign hanging above the hotel is reflected on her temple. The look in her eyes is indescribable. It's not the kind of look that any human would reasonably give to someone. Instinct kicks in. This woman looks like she's barely pushing past 5 feet. Her legs dangle a good length off the ground. They can't get a decent gauge of her build underneath the oversized sweater, but Demian thinks they could take her on in self-defense if needed. They were definitely underweight themselves, but they're more than 6 feet. They could just give her a jab in the neck and run, right? She's silent. Very silent. Demian can't even hear her breathing. She's going through the motions. Her shoulders and chest rise and fall like expected, but the sounds of her gasping fall just short of Demian's ears. They take a step back. Why did their hands become so clammy? A thrashing heartbeat brings pain to Demian's chest. Her gaze feels wrong. That's the only way Demian can describe it. Wrong. As if she's looking past them, past their skin into their bones. Please, don't look for me. Demian snaps out of their unsettled stupor. Huh? I don't want it anymore, please. Her voice is hoarse and low. Don't bring it back. I just want to rest. Demian would be lying if they implied they understood what the fuck she was on about. Are you drunk? She doesn't respond. Before Demian can stop her, she drops to the ground and takes off running. Stumbling, more like. Yeah, definitely drunk. She didn't lunge at Demian or make any threats, but their unease doesn't lighten. Something's wrong. We're gonna go to file 9 and make a save. Demian looks toward the dumpster. Murmuring drifts up from the cold metal. The more Demian strains their ears, the clearer it becomes in their mind. As if a voice was cooing directly in the folds of their brain, in a warm embrace made to lure. Whatever's in there, it's not just the results of a drunkard emptying her stomach. I can sense your pain, your anguish. I feel the whispers of a broken heart clinging to life, your strength sapped away by those who have wronged you. But I can repair you. I can gift you the strength of a god. Together we can lash out against those who have hurt you in kind. And all you have to do is let me in. She has the most beautiful voice. You'll never hear anything else like it. Why don't you stay? You can listen to it with me. Isn't its voice better than heaven? We could sit here and listen to it, promise. Become one with me. Let our hearts beat together. Our hearts and winds, or minds, I should say, must be one. Won't you join me? We can be free together. You don't have to feel this pain. Ooh. The extra text. So, we looked inside the first time. What does it say if we look away? I get the feeling it's the illusion of choice here, but I want to see. Yeah, no. Demian's not stupid. They're not dealing with whatever the hell she went through. Cryptic warnings are bad enough. Demian isn't taking the chance of learning what letting it in means. Carl can take a gander tomorrow if he's so keen. Fuck this. They shove their hands deep in their pockets and plod off to get their cheese curls. The night drags on in a dull way. Truth be told, by the middle of tomorrow, Demian had completely forgotten their little encounter. The next time Demian thinks of it, a month has passed. They're stewing over the concept of Valentine's Day again when the TV plopped on their dresser starts to speak of a new serial killer in their city. Oh! They look up from their noodles and raise the volume. The reporter is a somber man about Demian's age. The fleeting wish of sitting in his spot glimmers in their head. Cops are befuddled at the sight of the corpses. To be fair, Demian doesn't blame them. The state of the bodies was gruesome. Far worse than local news reports would be allowed to show off. Demian had to find the details online. Stomachs flayed open, organs devoured, arteries pulled up. Ugh. It's gruesome, yes, but Demian can't deny that it looks beautiful in a fucked up kind of way. It reminds them of flowers blooming, with flesh and veins acting as petals and vines. There's no rhyme or reason to the killings. It's like someone grew bored and started to raise down whoever crossed paths first. The question that's on the reporter's mind is clear. Who could do something like this and why? Demian has the strangest feeling they know what happened. The question on their own mind lingers for an uncomfortable while. What if that was me? Whoever this killer is, they sure seem to be living free and happy. Wouldn't that be something? They say while shoveling down more shitty noodles down their throat. Oh. Ha! So it leads to another ending. That's funny. Mm. Ending 1, parallels. Because after each ending, it has a little extra tidbit. Partial transcript of an interview between Sophia Choi and private investigator Irving Altair de Barthel has been discovered. Would you like to read it? Yes. Interviewer. It is the detective. Interviewee, Sophia Choi. Oh, that's the girl that threw up the thing. I swear, I didn't know you have to believe me. I didn't know it would bond to anyone else. I thought it was just me. Miss Choi, please don't think for a second I am placing any blame upon you. Truly, I am not. I called you here because, as the being's penultimate host, you would have vital information about it that could prove integral to my investigation. Okay, so yeah, this dude is just used to weird shit happening. He's used to weird shit and he knows what's going on. I really promise I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't want to hurt anyone with it. I got rid of it because I was scared. I know you had no intention of harm. Your swiftness in expelling the being supports all of your claims. Can you tell me more about your duration with it? I only had it for a week, I think, and I feel like I was tricked, or I wasn't myself when I reached out. Because I'm always good at keeping myself out of danger, but its voice was just so beautiful. I felt like I had to reach out, and no wasn't an answer. I was so sick all the time, and it was so hungry. I lost my appetite, but it didn't. It wanted to eat non-stop, so it could rebuild itself and bloom. Could you elaborate on this blooming concept? Oh, we're actually gonna get a response to that now. Hell yeah. It didn't tell me. I tried to ask it so many times, but it kept dancing around the question. It just said blooming was a beautiful thing and that I shouldn't be scared of it. I couldn't shake the feeling I would die if it bloomed, so I threw it up in a motel's dumpster. Do you remember the name of this motel? No. It was really late and its sign was half broken. I wanted to go home and sleep. I was tired and hungry, and I felt like I'd pass out any second. I think I talked to someone there. A worker, maybe? I don't really remember. Do you think it was that guy? The new killer? Do you think that worker is... I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to tell you otherwise. Oh, right. Alright. Let's see, I'm gonna head off now. Hope we can hang out again sometime soon. Yee, hopefully. Sweet dreams, Infinity. Hope you have a good rest of your night, and thank you for hanging out as long as you have. Let's see. What did you mean about the beauty of this creature's voice? Why were you unable to look away from it? I don't really know how to explain it. You really do have to be there yourself to properly understand, but it's like... its voice is in your head. When it talks to you, it doesn't go through your ears. You're already thinking over what it's telling you. The more I listened, the more I fell into its trap. When I say it out loud like this, I know how spineless I sound, but when I was there, I felt like I was connected to it. It was like it was a part of me. When something's talking into your mind and telling you how much you need it, you listen. You have to. And by the time you realize what's happened, it's already in your brain. I see. You don't believe me, do you? Don't take my silence as doubt, Miss Choi. I want to hear as much as you're willing to share. I would just like to thank you again for your cooperation. You've been a tremendous help. Please don't tell my dad or Peyton about this. I mean, they don't know about any of it, and I don't want to worry them. I understand. This conversation will stay entirely between the two of us. I just wish I... Oh, so we get a voice memo too. Okay. After speaking to Miss Choi for the rest of our allotted time, I've come to learn a lot more about this flowering being that could prove fruitful in my investigation. Despite that, I am left with more questions than I had started with. Miss Choi's testimony aligns with what I've gathered so far, including her mention of the Restful Night Motel. Though I have yet to receive the security footage I requested from its owner, I believe I've already questioned the worker she mentioned. A strange fellow by the name of Demian Zhao. Their manner of speaking was crude, to say the least. Regardless, I have no reason to believe their interaction with her or being extended beyond what Miss Choi remembered. Quite frankly, this case is far beyond my usual realm of expertise. I do not deal in the realms of flower gods or extraterrestrial beings. I specialize in demonics and unholy forces, the entities that lurk below our feet, not above. Once again, I find my ire directed towards our dear mayor, Edgar Hawthorne. God forbid he utilizes Kingsfield Police Department. Why should he use our tax dollars for their intended purpose when he can hand the case off directly to me? He'd rather line his pockets than let me carry out my intended job. I clearly don't have enough to deal with as of late, of course. That being said, I simply cannot turn my back and let the authorities handle it. If nothing else, Miss Choi's testimony has resonated with me in a way that many other cases simply fail to replicate. Perhaps it was the guilt in her voice while recollecting her memories of the being. The way she spoke of its allure reminds me of when I was once human and fell to Lior's deceit. I know her shame all too well. Knowing the incompetence of Kingsfield's detectives, Miss Choi's testimony would simply be swept under the rug. Or would be simply... Anyway, her encounter would become part of another statistic. Thus, I find myself once again consumed in my entirety by an otherworldly being. But make no mistake, I am not doing this for our mayor, nor am I partaking in this investigation to rid the serial killer that would stain Kingsfield's reputation. This is entirely from Miss Choi. So our detective friend here isn't even fucking human. That's honestly really cool. I like that. I like that a lot. This bitch is like an onion. Now we go back to where we were. Let's look inside! I'm gonna sip more of my cocoa, my throat hurts. Sounds beautiful. Just one little peek couldn't hurt, right? Demian stands on their tiptoes and leans in. They'll only take one look and back away if it's dangerous. A look doesn't hurt. A look can't ruin their life. A word could, but not a look. Living on top of the trash is a thick coating of dark slime. It has a strange tint to it. The best comparison Demian had was like the color of the needles on evergreen trees. There's none of the luster that the leaves flaunted. If anything, this thing seemed to defy the laws of physics. Any and all light that would illuminate its mass simply seemed to vanish before it could hit the shivering ooze. Holy shit, Demian exhales. It's breathing. Tendrils of its slime inch forward before pulling back. It brings Demian back to the days when they were little, watching the waves on the beach. It's like a little piece of the ocean, corrupted and plopped down in the slums of this wretched city. Echoed promises fill their vapid little head. Its voice is heavenly, mesmerizing even. It pulsates, resonating with their very core, as if it wants to be part with them. No, not that it wants to be. It is a part of them. It's a part of Demian that's been separated from them since the day they were born. All that's happening now is an inevitable reunion. Yes, that's right. That's why they've always felt so empty and incomplete. Because they were never whole. But they will be now. Lured closer and closer towards it, Demian can't even help himself. Reaching out, bony fingers brush against the creature to feel the purring of its heartbeat against Demian's fingertips. It clamps on tight. Oh shit! Bad choice, Zhao. The trance is shattered. What the fuck were they thinking? This thing isn't a part of them. It didn't whisper about the powers of a god or whatever was so awful it made that girl sick. Let's try that again, shall we? The fuck were they thinking? This thing isn't a part of them. It didn't whisper about the powers of a god, and whatever it was... And whatever it is was so awful it made that girl sick. There we go. That couldn't have been their own idea. Demian's smarter than that. It's already too late to rectify their error. They yank their hand out of the dumpster, the force of which they pull back sends Demian tumbling to the ground. The fluffy snow does nothing to break their fall, because it's only a thin layer, sadly. The creature's latched onto their hand now, sent from its metal prison and into the world. Demian tries to fling it off and then pry it away from their hands. Nothing helps. It only gets worse. Sprung into motion, the monster crawls up their skin. It doesn't stop, doesn't slow down, doesn't even hesitate. Get off, get off, get off, get away from me, get away from me! There's a voice in Demian's head that is not their own. Bloom. Need to bloom. Bloom and set free. It won't stop. Nothing Demian can do makes it stop. It's upon their throat in a blink of an eye. Unpleasant sensations sink through the panic that dulls Demian's pain. Prickling skin is what alerts them to the tightness around the thin neck. The windpipe squeezes shut. It's as if Demian's a mere observer in their own body. Demian tries to gasp for air. The mouth is forced open by the creature. Throat and nostrils are filled with squirming maggots, melted and swirled together into a barely conscious mucus. Ugh. Invading, swarming, sprouting. Eyes wide, screaming silenced, roots under the skin wrapping around bones. Muscle fusing with tendrils, heartbeats thumping, vision fading, thoughts slurring and dimming. Become one with me. Chapter 2. Ever since they were little, Demian has always dreamt in red. Red is a beautiful, meaning-filled color. It is loud, angry even, but it is unapologetic and passionate. It is the color of blood and hate, but also the color of love and desire. When they were growing up, there wasn't much love to go around. They dream of their family, always screaming at one another, or at a small child who couldn't fight back. In these dreams, they are never called Demian. A name that hasn't been used in years is what rolls off the tongue. Pa's anger drips red from his teeth, like venom from a snake's fangs as he yells in that booming voice of his. Ma's knife is splashed with red one day, when the screeching reaches a crescendo and Pa puts his hands on her throat. And, of course, their tongues would be stained with hatred in their ire turns toward the sole child in the family. As a child, Demi couldn't explain why they hated being in their own skin. When they dream of their face, they see a reflection of a kid who wanted to go to the beach so badly, but couldn't stand the idea of their swimsuit. A child who wanted to bite all their skin off in hopes they were just in a cocoon that housed their real self. But this isn't a shell, and there's no gorgeous butterfly waiting to emerge. Desires in a language they don't understand buzz and itch under their awful face. When bitter sobs bruise their ribs and tears are red. And now they dream of blood filling their lungs and spilling through their lips. Wait. No. It's not blood, and their body isn't trying to expel it. It's an infection. And in the dream, their body welcomes it. Their mind screams to purge it, but the sack of meat and bones won't listen. Every fiber of them is warped and distorted, overwhelmed by the parasite as it settles deep in their chest. They try to cry out, but their voice is no longer their own. From the look in their eye to the twitch of their fingers, this monster bleeds every drop of Demian soul out and settles comfortably inside their shell. They dream of their flesh becoming nothing more than fertilizer for invasive weeds, with scarlet flowers unfurling toxic petals around their skin. An eyeball that used to belong to them bursts, and Demian awakens with a start. Well then. It's incredibly late at night, or early in the morning, depending on their perspective. Demian sits up slowly. It feels like there's razor blades in their skull, sliding around and slicing up bits and pieces of their brain. Struggling to lift an arm, Demian drags a hand down their face. Sleep doesn't come easy to Demian these days. Well, it never has been easy, but they've graduated to a full-on insomniac in the past year or so. They're lucky if they get a few hours of sleep every day. Of course, Demian knows full well that this is partially their own fault. If they actually worked on a normal schedule instead of taking every slot available to get out of this shithole and stop scrolling through their phone for hours at night, who knows? Maybe the bags under their eyes wouldn't be so dark. Bleary eyes glare at the alarm clock on the nightstand. The display reads 4:33 a.m. in bright red. Now that's just great. Like it's not already hard enough to sleep. Ah, delicious. A rat skitters across the carpet. Ugly bastard too, with a scar across his left eye. Demi makes no motion to get rid of him. They sure don't feel like they slept for 3 hours straight. Demian flops down on the pillow and stares directly upwards. Their entire stay here, Demian has never been able to figure out how the hell someone got coffee stains on the popcorn ceiling. How'd they get to bed anyway? Last Demian remembers, they'd been grabbing some cheese curls in the vending machine outside when... the realization of, oh shit! Or oh fuck in this case. Demi throws the sheets off their legs and sprints to the bathroom. Something is wrong. Something is inside them. And they need to get it out. Somehow. How? They don't know. God, frantic thoughts pour through their mind again and again. Why did they do this to themselves? God, dumbass. Just couldn't resist the noises of some alien vomit slime creature made, huh? Or that's some alien slime creature. Eyes burning in the sunlight, Demian looks over themselves countless times. There's nothing wrong with their limbs physically. No twisted, gnarled claws to replace their nails. No thorns bursting from their skin. The only difference Demian can see is their left hand. The abrasion is completely healed over. There isn't even a scar where the cut should be. Everything looks fine. Not a single monstrous distortion of their body. A twinge of regret prods their chest at this. Demian figures it's a good idea to push aside the implications of that for now. There's just one last thing. Peeling the tape from the edges of the trash bag, Demian steals their nerves. There's gonna be nothing wrong with them. Their face will be unchanged. Fortunately or unfortunately. Just one little peek is all they need to reassure themselves. They're a grown-ass guy. They can look at their reflection without getting dysphoric. Shaking hands uncover their mirror. Yeah, they're fine. Their face looks the same as it always has. They don't like it, but it's there. With any luck, they think while letting go of the tarp, last night was just the feverish byproduct of an exhausted mind. For better or worse, Demian is completely unchanged. But you have changed in ways you cannot see. That's Demian's own voice. Sir. Well, they're not a sir. Demian is a they, them, envy. But all the same, you look like a Rorschach picture. Yeah, Demian doesn't have the best self-image, unfortunately. They whirl around to face the mirror again. The trash bag is no longer a protective shield against an uncomfortable image. Instead, a curtain to yank away and reveal something much stranger. The reflection lolls its head to the right. A dull smile curls on its lips. There you are, it says in Demian's own voice. I can't do much right now, while you sleep, you know. Demian blinks. They blink again. Yes, I do say, like, sir, boy, or girl to everyone, regardless of who they are. It might not be relevant here, though. I was unsure of the context. Sometimes I want to make a point and English hasn't got... Yeah, that's a fair point. Or, like, you do come up with one, but it's like a shower thought later and you're like, fuck! And one final blink just to be sure. Response is simple. Alright, our first orange option. Let's go. Who are you? Demian thinks they already know the answer. Its smile widens real slow at their question. Demian doesn't mimic. I'm the one who called to you in the snowstorm, it says, resting its chin on its hand. We are bound together in body and mind. They should be afraid, maybe disgusted, unnerved even. To Demian's surprise, there's a twisted sense of glee within the center of their chest. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong, it says, both in their mind and in their ears. You understand on a deeper meaning that there is nothing to fear. They stop in their tracks. Can you hear what I think? Of course I can. Did you think I was kidding when I said we were bound together? The fear that should curl in the pit of their stomach never even wriggles. Instead, the intrigue tightens its hold. 1,000 things Demian could say swarm, or worm, through their head. Eventually they settle on one. We asked what happened last time, so what the fuck is blooming? What is this blooming thing? It brought up blooming when they were bonded with it in the snow. Demian figures they might as well know what it is before they get too far in. More importantly, the question of, is blooming going to kill me, needs an answer. Then again, it could always lie. Demian wouldn't know either way. When I am fully rebuilt and can reach for the gifts of a god, then I can bloom. Demian scrunches their face up. That doesn't sound like a good sign. It laughs and leans in. I know what you're thinking. The answer is no, it will not kill you. Blooming is a wonderful feeling, in fact. If you could reach out and touch the heavens for eternity, the bliss you feel would be nothing compared to when I bloom. Is it gonna harm me in any way? Are you gonna use my body as fucking plant food or something? I feel like I should be more scared. This is some cult shit here. I totally get sucked into a cult. Blooming is like the equivalent of waiting for the apocalypse to smite the non-believers, isn't it? Don't be so skeptical, friend. I have no intention of hurting you in any way. After all, our pain is shared now. Your agony is mine, and my suffering is yours. I can only bloom in a living and conscious host, at the peak of their physical condition. Yeah, cult shit. Cool sounding cult shit, though. Slice, newest cult leader. Let's go. This statement nestles itself comfortably in the front of Demian's mind. So, to Bloom, you need me. Yes, I do. Demian tilts their head and asks the burning question. We used this one before, but I want to know what the other answer is. Although I wonder if it's like, if the ending is dependent on answering all orange. Fuck it. I'm in control here. Demian scrapes up a modicum of confidence. This is something we read before, so we are going to skip it momentarily. Of course, if it soothes your heart, we can both agree to that notion. I just want to know your thought process, it says. Think about it. You literally need me. They laugh, darling, go on. But you? Well, you'd be shit out of luck. You could strike gold again and find someone else like me, or your next 50-something tries could be dumpster girl over there. It's not smiling anymore. Yes, you're right. When it put it that... When it's put... When it put it that way, you are the one who calls the shot, so to speak. Damn right I am. By comparison, Demian's grin is huge. I look like someone told a Cheshire cat he can have all the wet food he wants and an extra treat after dinner. You want to earn space in this meat sack? You gotta play by my rules. Or you can try your luck with someone else. You got me? We'll go that way. So I'll let you stick around till you can bloom, otherwise I'm evicting you. More of Demian making a bargain with a creature that they have no idea what it is. Hey, Demian asks, do you have a name? I used to, over my eons in oblivion, though it has eroded from me. Oh. They look away. Do you want me to give you one? You don't have to say yes or make your whole identity if you don't want it. It could just be a nickname or something. Whatever makes you most comfortable. And this is where they get named Slice. Slice smiles wider than it has during their entire conversation. Then I hope we will get along well, you and I. Demian can't help but feel like they cut a deal with a god in the gutter. Beep-dee-dee-dee-dee. Ring-a-ding-ding, pick up your telephone. It's probably Carl or Margaret. What do these fuckers want now? Demian looks back to give Slice a goodbye. All they see now is their own face. Fuck it. Sharing a body with an alien parasite can wait. Right now, they've got more pressing matters on their hands. Pick up the phone and do their best to sound like they haven't been up for half an hour already. Zhao speaking. Hey, Demian, it's Margaret. Dude, it's 5 in the morning. I work second and third shifts. I know, but our morning housekeeper Isaac just called out and we don't have anyone else to fill his slot. Tell Isaac to go stuff it and get his ass in here. Come on, Maggie, please. I'm exhausted. Look at my schedule. I'm supposed to be on second with overtime today. Demian's taking this Slice thing awfully well if they do say so themselves. They've gotten pretty decent at packing away trauma in their brain to sort through later. It reminds them of shoving their summer wardrobe into a neat little box, or into neat little boxes to get enough space for winter gear. Problem is, this kinda goes beyond trauma and into life-threatening events that anyone would panic over. Not really something they can stuff into the mental closet to deal with on a better day. And hey, maybe they're imagining Slice up. At any point, they could wake up severely ill next to the motel's dumpster, covered in snow and 2 seconds away from death because they ate alien goo and it's liquefying their intestines in real time. That's also a possibility. A very real distinct possibility, I tell you what. Look, Demian, I know you know I never want to do this to you, but we really, really need someone to fill in and clean up before... You know what? I can talk with Dad, okay? We can probably get Samuel or someone to take your other shift today. We just really need you on this. Oh, so Samuel can take another shift, but you need me for this one. I see what you're doing. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Oh, my god, thank you so much. I'll talk to Dad right now, alright? Alright. Margaret slams the phone down on her side. Someone kill me already. It whispers to Demian's mind again. Could never harm you. Safe with me. Don't worry, it's just a thought, I guess. Besides, I kinda want to see what's so good about blooming. It'll take a while to get used to having two voices in their head. If this were a horror movie, Demian thinks they'd be the first to die. Yeah, they would be the token minority who thinks this is a cute rom-com cottage in the forest getaway. They'd blissfully skip their way down the creaky stairs and into the cluttered basement without so much as a flashlight. And oh, whoops, there goes their head, chainsawed off by the slasher before Demian can make it down the last step. They're not final girl material. They're too stupid for that slot. Ah, come on now. Give yourself some credit. Demian isn't even a girl. Ain't that just the piss in their cornflakes? But this ain't a nice spring break. There's no splinter-filled cabin in the heart of the woods. No serial killer that hasn't hugged or wasn't hugged enough as a kid, so now he skins people for fun. And this isn't a horror movie. This is a real-life experience. At 7 in the morning and Demian has 3 hours of sleep to pretend they don't have a vomit goo alien wrapped around their ribs, paraphrasing because I apparently cannot read anymore. Ain't that fantastic? Morning, Sam. Margaret? Hey, can we talk a second? Sure, what's the matter? What's up with Demian? They've been acting kinda off for a few days now. What do you mean? It's hard to explain. They keep spacing in and out, talking to themselves. It's been happening all week now. I was having a conversation with them on break yesterday and it just stopped right in the middle of their sentence. I thought Demian lost their train of thought, but it was like they were totally gone. Lights are on, but no one's home. That kind of thing. Everything was fine after a few seconds, but I don't know, it's not right. I'm not really the person to go for this kind of thing, Samuel. That sounds more like a personal issue than anything else. Wow, Margaret. Way to long-windedly say that's a you problem. I mean, they haven't really made any threats to you or slept up on their work, right? No, but... Look, I know you mean well, but in my perspective, this just sounds like gossip. Have you even talked to Demian about it first before coming to me? I think Samuel's trying to get across the point that maybe Demian needs help. Like, letting them have an entire week off level of help. You'd get it if you saw them. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't feel comfortable talking about Demian behind their back if they're just, what, spacing out? Maybe they just have a lot on their mind right now. Demian's been working a lot. Someone has to pick up Isaac's shifts, you know? He called out last week to cram for his finals. Sure, fine, I get it. Dun dun dun. Bitter white lies. Isaac, I'm clocking out. Demian shouts as they hurl a vomit-soaked rag into their cleaning cart. The young man cowering behind a stack of yellowing towels peeps his face out. I didn't know you were still here. They snap a dark laugh with no humor, wiping the last bit of sludge from their mouth. Yeah, blame Carl for that. Guess who's got written coming up and none of their overtime from last week? He's a cruel man. Has only given you misery and frustration. Does not deserve you. Tell me about it. Isaac lifts up a tower made of 5 or 6 towels. Each one is a pristine, flat rectangle. Demian can never get their folds that clean. While pushing a room door open with his foot, he shouts into the hallway. Jesus, you tried talking to Margaret yet? If I do, I'll rip her open. We're going the orange route, orange route, orange route. Demian laughs a little too hard. Fuck her. I hate her. Hey, whoa, whoa, where's all this coming from? Isaac plops the towels down on the bed's corner. They snort, leaning up against the wall. Come on, Isaac. Don't tell me you haven't seen the way she looks at me. She fucking hates me. But she's real insidious about it, you know? Maggie's not the girl who comes out and says she hates me. I think you're getting a little worked up. Ha! If you ask me, you're not getting worked up enough. Demian waves a hand around. Just you wait, bud. One of these days, I'm gonna clock in 2 minutes late, and she's gonna go running right to Carl. Isaac's shoulders tense up, and he takes a step back. Agree to disagree, I guess. Just calm down, man. Demian scoffs without a word. Of course he wouldn't understand. He just doesn't want to. Margaret's on his side, after all. Sweet little rich kid Isaac can slack off as much as he wants, and Maggie will let it slide because she's into him. Probably. She never said it straight up, but Demian has a feeling she wants more than Isaac's money. Their lives are meaningless. Her and him. No one would see you now if you let your hand slip. You could run for hours before his body's found. What a fucking mess. Demian had been beautifully turned into a vessel for an ancient titan rebuilding itself from death a few weeks ago, but it feels like nothing in their life had changed much since then. Wake up, go to work, exhaust themselves on overtime, daydream about a corpse's flower, clock out, get shafted again, wander around Kingsfield until they can sleep. Lather, rinse, repeat. If anything, Demian would more or less say they've been worse off since then. The only changes they felt are hot flashes melting into paralyzing chills, unbearable spikes of hunger like they've been starved for weeks, and the vomit. Be patient. You better not put me in the hospital. I only have $5 to my name right now. You'll be fine. Stop worrying. I can't afford an organ transplant. I can't even afford a checkup. Demian's motto has always been, if you ignore the check engine light for long enough, it might go away. It used to be literal back when they were allowed to drive Pa's car, but the sentiment still holds water. Even with all their hard work and overtime, Demian doesn't have health insurance. The most they can do is grit their teeth and pretend everything is okay. Maybe grab, like, a scalpel from the CVS and a lot of alcohol. Basically, like, the backwoods doctor. Paging yourself. Paging doctor yourself. Their uniform may stink of bleach, but the urge to bash someone's brain is mild today. Overall, things could be worse. Probably. God, I need a cigarette, Demian says to no one. But I can't have one, because apparently that'll fuck up my health, and it's more expensive than ever. Demian should really quit smoking. They know this in their heart. It's bad for them, it makes Slice feel terrible, and they're basically huffing arsenic. That said, you can't really, or can you really blame a guy for pissing and moaning when that piece of shit mayor Edgar Hawthorne imposes a tax on their cancer sticks? Good old Eddie should be lucky they just want to smoke. If they were a little less tired, they'd be throwing a brick through his office window right about now. Have you tried weed? Isaac asks. If I try weed one more time, I'm gonna commit a felony. Demian's response is flat. No. It's like he's waving it in front of their face just to taunt them. Isaac's gloating that the only way they can explain it. Or that's the only way they can explain it. He knows Demian's always 2 bad shifts away from being homeless, yet here he is now. They've never said it out loud to him, but it's obvious to anyone who has eyes. As if to prove their point, Isaac shrugs and keeps going. You should. It's the best way to relax after a shift, I think. There's no health risks either. You can't get addicted like you can with spokes. I'm actually going to kill you, and I am so serious. Isaac doesn't know how good he has it, does he? They keep their eyes trained ahead of them, refusing to give them the pleasure of seeing just how much he's getting under their skin. Yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway, I'm going out, Demian says with a harsh 2-fingered salute. Leaving, I mean, going to the city. That's right, Demian. Walk away. Ain't worth trading blows over this. He wouldn't learn from it anyway. What, sick of me already? Isaac's voice sounds light in tone. They think he's joking, but they're not too sure anymore. Like you wouldn't believe, they drawl. Don't get your balls in a twist. I need groceries. Ran out last night. I already skipped breakfast because I had nothing to eat. They've already eaten too much for a guy living paycheck to paycheck, but Demian can't help it anymore. The hunger is already growing. Demian thinks what they're doing is the right thing, but if it deepens any further, they'll pass out. Tell me about it. I got a scholarship and all, but that doesn't cover everything. Still gotta pay for food, rent, the works. At least you have a scholarship. At least you get to go to college. At least you have money for weed. At least you have a family willing to be your safety net. He doesn't know just how good he has it, does he? No. Wouldn't you love to show him? Not here. That sucks, Demian mumbles before they end up doing something violent. I'd better get going, actually. Train might leave without me. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I know it automatically saved, but I'm gonna do another save here. We'll go a little lower to file 12. I still have a little bit of time on the clock, but I'm gonna cut it early for, just a hair early for veins like tapeworms.